Before we begin, I invite you to gently close your ears and focus on what remains when all external sounds fade away. It's like sitting in a quiet room, and after a while, you notice a subtle ringing or hum beneath the silence. If you listen closely, you'll start to experience this soft, constant presence, something that feels like the very fabric of reality itself. In quantum physics, it's said that everything is connected at the most fundamental level, and that everything we see is just a manifestation of deeper, unseen energy. What you are hearing, or rather feeling, is that same energy, that same field of potential. This subtle ringing is what we call the sound of silence. It's not just an abstract concept or some external force. It's the very essence of you. Everything we discuss in this session and the ones to come will be about this sound of silence. It is not something separate or different from you. It is you. This exploration is about realizing that the sound of silence is your own inner being, your most fundamental nature, the stillness from which all life arises. You are that, the very presence behind everything. The foundation of everything we think about day and night is the belief that we are the body. If we reflect on this, we will realize how this belief limits our thinking. By identifying ourselves with the body, we create a boundary that defines all of our experiences. This limited thinking is the root cause of all sorrow. If I expand my perception and consider myself as infinite space, the thought of being confined to a body fades away. Thought can only persist when we think of ourselves as a form. The moment I realize I am formless, the thought of being limited vanishes, leaving behind pure awareness. This awareness is free from the limitations imposed by the form. Even if thoughts remain, they no longer affect me because I recognize that they cannot define me. I might momentarily think I am this body, but it won't change my true essence, which is infinite. I can act as a beggar for a brief moment, but I will still remain a king in essence. This is not to be confused with identity. Neither a king nor a beggar truly defines me. In reality, I am the life force that sustains both, and nothing external can alter this truth. Similarly, at the level of thoughts, I may feel sadness, but my true essence is never sad. Once I recognize my true nature, I will cease to feel sorrow at the level of thoughts, and it will become impossible for me to feel sadness. In essence, I am always liberated. The problem lies not in reality, but in the false identity I have adopted. Due to conditioning, upbringing, and the body's limitations, I perceive everything as happening to me. Whatever I experience throughout the day reinforces the notion of I, which is identified with the body. This attachment to the body as I is the root cause of all sorrow. The ignorance of not knowing who I truly am causes my unhappiness. The solution to this ignorance is self-awareness. It is like a person who is uneducated suffering because of their lack of knowledge. Education is the solution to that suffering. The uneducated person needs to learn in order to survive in the world, and once they understand, their basic survival is secured. However, this understanding does not guarantee happiness. It only ensures survival, and there is a crucial distinction between survival and happiness. Survival depends on external factors like skills and qualifications. The better my skills, the more likely I am to secure a comfortable life for myself and those around me. In a world focused on material objects, money becomes a critical factor for survival. Someone without money is bound to suffer because they lack what they need in the material world. Similarly, if my thoughts are limited, smaller than they should be, I will also suffer. To avoid this suffering, my thoughts must expand to match the vastness of my true self. If I am infinite, my thoughts must reflect that. No one likes the thought of death. It brings fear and suffering. But why is that? It's because internally, at the level of thoughts, I am poor. The solution is to become rich in thought, to recognize my infinite nature. Externally, many people are poor, and they and their families may suffer from hunger. The solution in the external world is to acquire wealth. But everyone, regardless of their external status, is poor at the level of thoughts because their true essence is infinite. By understanding who I truly am, I can shift my internal perspective and stop feeling impoverished in my thoughts. This inner education is about seeing the truth of who I am. Once I realize this truth, my thoughts will naturally align with it. I won't need to consciously train my thoughts because they will automatically reflect my true nature. If I am a king, my thoughts will align with that identity, and I will never think of myself as a beggar. I will carry myself as a king, and if someone tries to convince me otherwise, I will reject that notion. My thoughts will automatically stay true to my understanding of myself. The solution to all suffering lies in this understanding. This understanding does not come instantly. It is not like a child who goes to school and comes out the next day claiming to know everything. Understanding is a slow and steady process that requires patience. In the past, many households had places for communal gathering and discussions where people would come together and reflect on the deeper truths of life. This kind of company, where one can learn and reflect, is essential for the growth of understanding. This process takes time, and patience is crucial. Just as a child learning carpentry has to endure physical discomfort and take time to master the craft, I must be willing to face the discomfort and time needed to understand my true nature. The patience I apply to understanding myself is no different. Though it may take time, the effort is worth it, because every moment spent in this process brings me closer to realizing my true vastness. In the external world, when I look at the vastness of nature or the universe, I may feel insignificant. The more I contemplate the immensity of the world, the more insecure I may feel. I might wonder, what is my importance in this enormous universe? However, when I turn my attention inward, I begin to explore the vastness within myself. The more I discover this inner expanse, the more I realize that even the vast universe is a small dot in comparison to the infinite space within me. The key is recognizing the unity of the witness. The essence of everything I experience in this world and beyond is the same. There is only one witness, and that witness is the true self, which is beyond all forms and limitations. When I realize this, I am free from all the constraints of identity. This understanding cannot be confined by any external forces. Just as awareness cannot be bound, my true nature cannot be limited or restrained. I am the witness of everything, and this awareness is beyond good or bad experiences. The external world might bring challenges or pleasures, but these experiences do not affect my true essence. By recognizing this, I become free from the cycle of birth and death, and I can live with a profound sense of peace and awareness. Understanding my true nature liberates me, and I am no longer bound by the limitations of the world around me. I am beyond fear, beyond suffering, and beyond all limitations. The key to this liberation lies in understanding my true essence, which is infinite, eternal, and unchanging.